Well, most of you know by now one of my favorite things to do on the Good to Be Home TV show is to introduce you to some of my friends. And here's a longtime friend, first time ever on the show. Welcome, Michael W. Smith. Hey, Smitty.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that. I'm glad we get to connect. It's been a while. So.
It has been a while. I think the last time that I got to see you, except in passing at the Dove Awards and stuff, that doesn't really count. We got to tour with you back in 2012. We went to Australia together, didn't we?
I think so.
Do you remember that?
It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was too long.
I'm not even sure we can go to Australia now. How about that?
I
Is that
know.
crazy or what?
I know. I think it was 2012, and it was Signature Sound with you, and then Mercy Me. So we played Hillsong Church.
Yeah, we did.
And that big outdoor festival, Spirit Fest.
I do remember
think it
that.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to back up. I want to go back to the beginning of your career. And it's been a long, distinguished career. But did I read right? Am I remembering correctly that the first group that you were ever in, performed with, was it a gospel quartet?
Yeah, it was Higher Ground. You probably know Wayne Hilliard.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1980.
Okay.
Crazy to think about that. I mean, just insane. I mean, I had. It's a crazy story. The short story is that I kind of went through a prodigal season and have written books about it. You can get all the crazy, gory details and how amazing it was when God rescued me, thanks to the prayers of my mom and dad. But that was from 75 to 79. I moved to Nashville in 78. And I remember having this, I really had a nervous breakdown, honestly, in 1979, and then twisted and turned for 3.5 hours on the floor, and then knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that Abba Father was laying on the ground with me on my kitchen floor with his arm around me and said, "It's going to be okay. I got your back." I mean, it was like a movie. And I remember waking up the next day and said, "God, I need a rescue, man. Whatever happened last night was the real deal." So you wake up and you're tempted to go do the same things. And then I went into a publishing company, a Paragon publishing company at the time, and Randy Cox was my publisher. And he asked me to come to his office, and he said, "Hey," I said, it's a wild idea. There's this group called Higher Ground, and they're looking for a piano player." I said, "I'll take the job."
Oh.
He said, "You don't want to meet him?" I said, "Nope, I'll take the job." And they nurtured me back to health spiritually for the next eight months, and that's how I kind of got back on my feet. Was with Wayne and Lee, Wayne's brother.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I guess the rest is history. Then 8 months later, I got my first songwriting contract where I actually got paid $200 a week. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. and then I met a girl named Amy Grant.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Started writing songs for the A-Stage record and found myself on the road with her. So it's just wild how God just sort of orchestrates all that stuff. You can't take credit for it. So
I remember. So I graduated high school in '83. And so, what year was Go West Young Man? What year was that?
1990.
That was 90. Okay.
Yeah.
So I joined the Cathedral Quartet in April of 1990. So I would have been jamming to that as I was jogging, because my two loves is gospel quartet, and I loved contemporary Christian music. And so when you came on the scene with what you were doing. I think the first year I was with him, we worked praise gathering together, and man, you were flying across the stage. You were running, and I was like, yes. I mean, that's the energy that the gospel could have, So I was like, fast forward to 2003 when I started Signature Sound after the Cathedrals retired. I mean, I go back and I look at all these influences along the way, and man, that was a pivotal night for me too. To see the joy and excitement that you had that night. And then DC Talk a few years later when they were doing backflips off the stage.
They were doing backflips.
So anyways, I've never really got a chance to sit down and talk to you and tell you that. And then when you were talking about the start, you talked about your mom and dad. I think it was Charleston, West Virginia. I can't remember where, but the Cathedrals were playing somewhere, and there was a suite sweet older couple that came in, and they're just standing by the product table after it's over with. They're just smiling. They're just waiting for everybody to get out of the way. They're just so patient. And they walked in. We really enjoyed you tonight. I thought, thank you. We're Michael's mom and daddy. And their face just lit up. You know, Michael, he plays piano and he likes gospel quartet music too. I said, that's what I've heard.
That's
I'll
great.
never forget their faces. They're so proud.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, I wanted to chat with you because for the last since we started this season of the Good to Be Home, I've been telling everybody that we're going to Alaska, not just Alaska, but we're going with you. And I just thank you for inviting Signature Sound. We've been looking for opportunities to not only work together but to hang out.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you guys are coming. It's gonna be awesome. Now, this will probably be my fourth or fifth time to Alaska. You've been there. You've probably been on the Gaither cruise, and we talked about David Jeremiah. David actually went on one of my cruises back in the day. But it's just the Alaska's spectacular in of itself. It's just majestic, and
Yeah,
I'm a big outdoors guy. I can just look at a mountain and sort of kind of get in praise mode. Just looking at the stars in Alaska and look at the mountains and the glaciers and stuff. But the people really make it. The people who come on the boat. I've got these amazing. I don't really call them fans. I call them friends. They become friends and they're supportive. I'm convinced I'm still doing what I'm doing because they pray for me every day. They're pretty loyal.
absolutely.
And so we're going to have a good group and we're going to have a lot of people come because you guys are coming. I know that for sure. And Tony Dungy's going to come.
That's what I was going to say. Tony Dungy's coming.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Coach
can't
is a good
wait.
friend. Coach is a good friend of mine. He said, "Man, if I can bring my family, I'll come." I said, "Absolutely, bring your family." So, but yeah, I think we're really poised for a really great week. But thank you for accepting the invitation. We'll have a lot of fun.
Well, I want to tell everybody you can go to our website, erniehaase.com, and hit the events page, and you can get all the information and to sign up with Michael W. Smith and friends. And I'm just honored to be a part of your friends. And my only request, besides can our wives come with us, was would Smitty play the piano for Signature Sound on a couple songs? So,
I'm there, bro. I'm there.
seriously?
Yeah.
Yes.
I put a tip jar on the I'm just kidding.
Well, we gotta do one of your songs, but we gotta do some old school stuff too. So
Love
be
it.
thinking about
Bring
it.
it.
Be thinking about it, and then it's a chance to hang out. I mean that because we've crossed paths so many times, but I look forward to just sitting and seeing the scenery with you and having a cup of coffee and then you talking about your friends that pray for you. Those who are watching. Southern gospel is kind to old performers. We get to grow old and sing gospel music. The CCM side, it's 4 or 5 years and they've moved on to the next thing. I marvel at how long of a career you've had and how relevant you've stayed. And I'll never forget one morning I got up early in Australia, and your manager was there, and I wanted to see. I wanted to maybe have a cup of coffee. I said, "Where's Michael?" Well, he's already done. He's gone. He's over at Hillsong writing. He's writing today. I'm like, that guy's like Alexander Hamilton. He just never stops writing. But I love the work ethic. I do. I've talked to many people behind your back about you, and the two things that keep coming up to the forefront constantly is you're always working. You love the process, I should say.
Yeah.
And your genuineness, your realness, your sweetness, the encounters with you are not just, oh, he's nice. No, they have encounters with you and they feel like they've taken a piece of you with them as they walk away. So that's why I'm sure everybody on that boat will think that they are your personal friend, because in some ways they really are. And so that's influenced me and how I hate to say do business, but how I handle the business of my ministry and with my guys. And so I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I haven't always done everything right, but as you get older, you really realize it's not about you, and you want to kill people with kindness. Just be kind, and I'm not any more important than anybody else. We're all in this thing together, and you just want to have your A game on. I found out that I can't change the past. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I have this moment. That's all I got. So live in the moment. So that's what I think I've gotten better at it, and then I'm still learning. But just even if it's on stage, or even if it's just I just went to the grocery store, be in the moment for
Be in the
whoever's
moment.
waiting on you. Because I always think worship's a lifestyle. You just it's too late to miss it. And there's so
Yeah.
many opportunities not only on the stage but off the stage as well.
Living in the moment, staying in the now, and just
Yeah,
trusting God with the rest of it.
that's
Well,
right.
I remember at soundcheck you walked off the stage and you just did a little bit of Friends or Friends Forever, if the Lord's the Lord of them. I remember you smiled and you said, I never dreamed when I wrote that song I'd still be singing it 30 years later. But you are.
It's crazy. I mean, I don't. I always tell Deb I laugh because my wife wrote the lyric. We wrote it for a good friend of ours. We wrote it spur of the moment. She wrote the lyric in 30 minutes. I wrote the music in 3.5 minutes. We played it for our friend Bill that night. This is my wife's wild idea to write a song for Bill Jackson, who was leading our Bible study. He was moving away, and she had this wild idea to write a song that day and sing it that night. And I thought, she's crazy. That ain't going to happen, girl. It's not going to happen. And 30 minutes later, she hands me this lyric, and then I write the music in 3.5 minutes, and we sing it for Bill that night. And everybody cried, and and I woke up the next morning. I went, there might be something on this song. And I thought Amy would cut it. I thought, I'm going to pitch this song to Amy. I'll never forget my manager at the time, Mike Blanton. Never forget being in an elevator, and I was picking songs from my very first record, the Michael W. Smith Project. And I remember him vividly looking at me going, you know what, Amy doesn't need to cut this song, you do.
Oh, wow.
And but Amy and I have sung it together so many times. I mean, we ended the Age to Age tour with that song almost every night, and I think even the Lead Me On tour, we just have sung it so much. But whatever, yeah, it's crazy. When you look out there and you see people light up, you see people crying, you see people hugging, and the song becoming a huge fabric of people's lives. It's crazy. I've never thought it was like this amazing song, but sometimes songs come along that there's just something simplistic about it, and that it just connects. And I think that's one of those songs.
Well, for one, I've quoted the lyric even to my neighbor across the street. They downsized, and he's going through the beginning stages of Parkinson, and it's
Mm.
life is a series. I'm getting closer to 60 now, so it's been a series of losses. Whether it's not either death or goodbyes or see you laters, even within my own group of Signature Sound,
Yeah.
transitioning from different vocalists, and man, it's hard, but because you become. I think it was Gaither told me this one time. Business brings you together, but then the friendship happens, and then when the business stops, can the friendship survive? And I'm proud of my friends. I'm proud that I have friends that have lasted longer than business. And,
Okay.
um, well, I can't think of a more fitting song for this episode, especially with everything that's going on in my crazy life, than your wonderful, simplistic, but yet profound song. Friends are friends forever. Do you think we could back you up? Would you bless the people
Ab-
with your song?
Absolutely. It's a
Let's do
done
that.
deal. Let's do it.
Let's do that.
All right.